sir. Good afternoon.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskara, namaskara.
Chenagiddene. I just heard you in the previous session, plenary session.
Yes, sir. Good, sir. You're doing a lot of work there. That's wonderful. In Bangalore.
What all of us are doing, but something which we had planned with your university that is yet to happen. But let's see that we can take that. That's correct.
That's true, sir. That's true. Very excited, sir. That's an interesting kind of initiative you have taken, and then we would like to be doing it well.
So I was before this starts, I was contemplating, can we do it through this kind of a at least make a beginning with this video conference kind of a thing, instead of just waiting for everything to subside and then losing quite a bit of a time, because we have to do different modules.
We'll have to find some ways to do it this way only, sir. It will take almost 1.5 years to really things get back normal in a full-fledged way. We should try and do it, sir. I'll also discuss with my colleagues. Maybe we should try and schedule it.
Okay.
Sir, Metro, now how, what is the network length, sir? Metro?
At the moment, we have 42, and we'll be adding another 6 in this month.
Right, sir. And about 4 lakh
passengers. 72 is under construction now. So it's starting this November, and over next 3-4 years, they should get commissioned.
Okay. You have about 4 lakh ridership now?
Pre-COVID, we were having 4.5 to 5. But of course, now it has come down to about 65,000. Social distancing, etc.
Not connected?
Good afternoon, Mr. Dikshit.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, nice seeing you.
Dikshit sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Nice seeing all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hi, Michael.
Good afternoon. Hello, Mr. Dikshit. Long time no see. How are you?
Oh my God! Really? Yeah. Fantastic to see you.
Likewise, likewise. It has been a long time.
Yeah.
I hope things are getting better in India at the moment.
Oh, yeah, certainly getting better.
Excellent.
Better than earlier.
Well, Germany, with the winter coming, is not really improving. We have our second lockdown.
Oh yeah, we heard. But here in Delhi, there's another problem, of pollution.
Oh my goodness.
That is making the matters worse.
Let's hope we soon have a cure for this thing. It is starting to get, nasty. So let's see how it will develop. But anyhow.
Now the question is how soon the vaccine is coming.
In Germany, they're saying there might be something approved by the end of November. So still this month. I don't really believe it, but let's see.
No, but now it's, I think the time, I think all that timetable which was given earlier is coming closer. Perhaps, as you say, it will materialize, I think, by end of November. But in a smaller number, in fact.
True. Until vaccination of the population is done, this will still take a while, several months, I guess.
Yeah. But people can live by the hope. But if it starts, people can live by the hope.
Yeah. But now that we have a great outcome of the US election, I mean, what else can go wrong?
I think Germany looks to be very, very happy.
This is your host. This is your host, Vimbi Chaudhary speaking. My apologies to our eminent speakers for stopping this discussion which you were having. Very interesting discussions regarding the America and the changes which are happening. But then we go back to our subject for which we are all present here. And we begin with the breakaway sessions. As mentioned, these are going to be starting in the 5 virtual rooms. Herein, as we begin, this is on emerging trends in mass transit system, where our focus as we do it on the emerging trends in mass transit system, broadly covering the cost containment, operational efficiency, new revenue sources, governance framework, leveraging technology, digital payments, and customer experiences, etc. This is a session which is going to be again for 1 hour 30 minutes. We request the presenters to make the presentation for max 10 minutes, because this is going to be then followed by a Q&A session, and we look forward to active participation also of all our participants and delegates as they send in their questions in the chat box. So with that, I welcome everyone on board. The session moderator, Shri Jaideep, the Officer on Special Duty, UT, and ex officio Joint Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, who belongs to the Indian Railway Service of Electrical Engineers. And prior to that, he has worked on several important assignments in Indian Railways related with train operations, maintenance of rolling stock and traction distribution systems, rolling stock manufacturing, IT systems, and others. Our eminent panelists, we have Mr. Ajay Seth, the Managing Director of Bangalore Metro Rail Corporation, who's going to be speaking to us on metro planning, operations, and technology. Our next eminent speaker, Mr. V.K. Singh, the Managing Director, National Capital Region Transport Corporation, who talks to us on the regional rapid transit system. Dr. Bridesh Dikshit, the Managing Director of Maharashtra Metro Rail Corporation, who speaks to us on Metro Neo, and Professor Sivanand Swami, the Executive Director, CEPT University, who's going to be talking to us on PRTS. And we also have the international examples, which is going to be shared by Mr. Yinghui Denny Chen, the BBG from BBG Berlin. I believe there is a slight change in our speaker as we have the last one. We have Mr. Dieter Michel Lolly, the board member of Deutsche Bahn International Operations, who's going to be joining us. And with that, I welcome all panelists, and I would like to request our moderator, Shri Jaideep, for taking these conversations forward with our panelists. Thank you.
The topic of today's discussion is regarding emerging trend in mass rapid transit system. As we all know that rapid transit system is the lifeline of any city. It is not only a transport solution alone, but a complete ecosystem which transforms the livability of the person within the city and around. Some of the key areas which is critically looked by transit agencies is governing model, improving financial sustainability, then use of technology. Standardization is also very important for cost optimization, and as a whole, mobility as a service. And the other thing which is coming up in recent time about the regional connectivity with the main city, it is also assuming significance. And we have today we have eminent personalities from different metro organizations and also academia and member from Deutsche Bahn. And we will be starting our presentation with the presentation by Mr. Ajay Seth. First of all, I introduce about Mr. Ajay Seth. Mr. Ajay Seth is currently working as Managing Director, Bangalore Metro Rail Corporation. Most of his professional experience has been in the domains of public finance and social sector administration, dealing with the matters concerning budget, account, tax policy and administration, project appraisal, foreign investments, bilateral and multilateral financial cooperation, development financing, and public-private partnership. Out of his career of 33 years, he has been in the public finance and taxation domain for 18 years in different positions in Government of India, Government of Karnataka, and Asian Development Bank. He was associated with goods and service tax domain for 8 years till 2015. First as Secretary, Budget and Resources, dealing with tax policy, as Commissioner, Commercial Tax, handling tax administration, and therefore thereafter as special invitee to various committees formed by Empowered Committee of State Finance Minister. He is a recipient of Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration in 2003, being a member of the team of Transformation of Commercial Tax Administration of Karnataka. Now it's over to Mr. Ajay Seth.
Thank you, Jaideep. And I'll just share my presentation and then we can get going. So welcome to all, and the topic given to me for this metro planning, operations and technology. Now here now we are just, US election is just over, hopefully over in the sense that still few things are there. So I'm picking up one tagline, of course, is the 1992 tagline, of which was used by Bill Clinton on the economy, is the economy is stupid. And for us, it is a ridership. And that is a mantra for us, that whatever planning we do, it is around the ridership. Where we are 750 kilometer metro network in the country and adding about 100 kilometers every year. But that's not a scalable model for a country of our size. And hitherto, the past over 2 decades, the story started in 1998 in Delhi, and it has been largely an engineering perspective for metro. And the planning has to shift now from engineering perspective to financial and economic perspective. We have got enough capacity in the country to design and implement engineering projects or other metro projects, but little thought has gone into financial and economic perspective. And for doing so, we'll have to be in a position where we can influence the urban ecosystem, because metro is the most efficient way of public transport, but bigger the system, more is the inertia. We can't go to small lanes. We have to be only on major corridors. Unless we are in a position to influence the urban ecosystem, there are problems there, problems around ridership. And this is where the ministry has been guiding us, hand-holding us, pushing us, directing us to get into those positions. How we can influence the urban ecosystem? Being an implementer of a large project, generally we tend to get ears of the decision makers, of the political executive, and we are in a better position to influence the urban ecosystem in terms of the policies, procedures. And there comes the question is that unless the development is around transit-oriented development, unless the urban ecosystem moves towards TOD, ridership will not come to metros. Only one line in the country, and there's one line in the country which has the adequate ridership, which is Mumbai 1, which moves around 40,000 people per kilometer per day. Everybody else is around 20,000. Delhi's average is about 20,000. Hyderabad and Bangalore are about 15,000. Everybody else is about 5,000, 7,000 commuters per day per kilometer. These are suboptimal unless we reach to a daily ridership of about 25 to 30,000 commuters per day per kilometer. And that will possible not through last mile and first mile connectivity. And the last mile, first mile connectivity for our financial viability will come when people can walk to a metro system, and not by having metro system very large, but that is a adequate densification around the mass transit system. The next one where the economic and financial planning has to go, that unless we plan for this multimodal integration, either we plan, implement, or perish. I've used figuratively a caged tiger. Already the bus transport is like a caged tiger. Today, even if we were to pump in more buses, the speed of those buses, public transport, is so low because roads are no longer a public good because of the congestion, and the speed of the public transport buses are rather low. For us, it will be a different one where people can't reach a metro system. Only those who are in the near vicinity of few hundred meters they would reach, but not 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer people staying away can reach to a metro system. So this multimodal integration is a mantra which we have to move forward. And of course, like just in the previous one, there was or in this one itself, one of the speakers said, the pollution, and urban pollution being a great problem. And
you have to have exclusive right of way all through. If your roadways are narrow, you could also have bus priority only at the bus stations near the junctions. In fact, in Ahmedabad BRTS, there are a few sections where we do not have exclusive bus lane running all along. There is a bus station in the middle, and then there are signages, and therefore bus priority is only at the bus stations and not through the network. That's also something which is possible. I think that's something which we should probably explain. Recent example of Hubli Dharwad, 22 kilometers. They carried before COVID-19. They were carrying about 1 lakh passengers per day. Imagine 1 million population city, 22 kilometers of BRT network, and 1 lakh passengers per day. I think that's a good kind of a system for cities, maybe tier 3, which one would like to classify them, if so. Then it's also possible with BRT, you can actually improvise the entire street network. In fact, Surat has created a walkway, a busway, a public facility along the bus lanes. In fact, what is important is that buses in the mixed lane in our country situation is not going to be viable in the times to come. And therefore, when we start making roads, we make roads as transit ready. In the middle, you actually reserve about 8 to 9 meters. You may actually use it for buses. You may use it for LRT. You may use it for metro. You may use it for any Metro Neo or any system for that matter. But you must reserve 9 meters on all major roads upfront when you are actually building that city, and they are called as transit ready streets. Ahmedabad does have things of that kind as part of its plan. And this is the cross section of the transit ready street. It can be built there. Then the third important thing is integration. Integration. An interesting thing is in Surat, there are 3 bus-based systems, what they call a BRT, and they have a city bus system, and then they have a high mobility corridor. And these 3 bus networks are actually presented in the map with different colors. Red is BRT, blue is the city bus, and the green is high mobility corridor. There are 78 stations which have been identified as interchange stations. An user can actually buy one ticket from anywhere to anywhere on this network. He can transfer from city bus to city bus to BRT, BRT to city bus. The only system in the country which has this multimodal integrated network, both physical integration and fare integration. I think with the metro coming in Surat, that will also be included as part of this integration plan there. This is the bus, this is BRT interchange stations, and city bus to city bus interchange stations are marked here. About 30% of the users in Surat today actually use take advantage of this interchange facility there. Yeah. I said the physical and fare integration, you have the BRTS, you have the city bus, and you have the high mobility corridor. What is another important thing is, given the city late start in the public transport arena, they actually, in practical terms, they started in 2016. They had about 40 buses. Today they have about 700 buses, another 300 buses they're going to add. And therefore, it was actually the building ridership for public transport. Frequency was very important. Given the low ridership, they began their operations with midi buses. Now they are looking at standard buses and the articulated buses in the times to come as the ridership builds on. That's an advantage of the bus, that you can build up system capacity depending on the requirement. The basics are done now in terms of roadway design and everything else, stations, but the buses and the other systems can be upgraded or expanded to the requirement there. Hubli Dharwad, one city, probably the best public transport infrastructure for the city size of that kind, 1 million. It has all the integration related aspects, both pedestrian, land use, and public transport, both city bus, the BRT, and the regional. Now they're also moving towards network integration perspective. I think that's something which one must take notice of. The last one is incentivizing the pricing and institutions. Electric, if you really compare standard, the high quality electric and high quality diesel bus, the prices do not seem to vary. And therefore, when you move to electric, we're actually moving towards better quality buses. And if you're moving to better quality buses, we need more promotional aspect. It's not in terms of the capital grants or subsidies which are required. What you need is viability gap for operations. I think that's where the support system is required. Government of Gujarat has promoted a scheme where 25 up to 25% of the gap in the operations of the buses is being paid by the state and the local body in 50-50% share. I think that's a big change which has happened there. There is also something which we need to look at, whether we want public operators or private operators. It's very interesting. The cost of the per passenger in KSRTC, if you look to Kerala, Kochi, there are three types of bus systems. One is run by private, other one is public non-AC, and third one is public AC. Their fares are different, operations are different. The ridership is, most of it is on the private city permit buses there. Yeah, and their cost per passenger, because they carry more passengers, about 1,000 passengers per day they carry, and therefore their cost per passenger kilometer is less than a rupee. Whereas on the public bus, as well as in India all over, the per passenger kilometer cost works out to be about 2 rupees 50 paisa to 3 rupees in metro and other systems there. And why should passenger pay more? That's one point of the question. Therefore, whether it's public operates and private operates, why should we not exploit the benefit of private operations in our public transport? That's one question. The second question is fare a cost recovery mechanism, or is fare a passenger ridership attraction strategy? Can we use fare as a ridership attraction strategy? I think we need to do that. Metro fare needs to bring down. If you double your ridership,
can we do it in 1 minute?
Not less than a minute, sir. Less than a minute. Yeah, and these are already there. I've already mentioned it. Who is under loss? Who is under this one? And the final point which I would like to make: buses, more buses, better buses, bus priority, BRT, and integrated transport. No single mode is adequate to service the varying needs of the people. Buses forms the critical base for sustainable mobility. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Again, in an excellent presentation, Mr. Swami has discussed about that total buses are 25 to 30,000, whereas the requirement is of about to the tune of 0.2 million. There is a huge gap. Then as far as buses is concerned, his solution is not to induct bus like this, you induct and you fill the gap. He has also covered that if we go in that manner, but the roads will get congested. Then he has suggested that we should have a dedicated bus priority corridor, and he has also shown successful example of such bus corridors working in other parts of the country. Then the most important thing which he has mentioned about that metro system or any type of system is not successful unless and until it is properly integrated with other modes. And he has also discussed about the fare integration part as well. And he has also discussed about how the pricing and institutional building mechanisms to be developed. And he has also given example of Kochi, where public and private operator comparison has been indicated, and the number of passenger carried by the private operator is much higher than a public operator, and the cost per kilometer for a public operator for a private operator is much less than a public operator. Then he has also discussed about that for electric bus, since it's a cost intensive thing, then this viability gap funding has to be given, and he has given example of Gujarat. An excellent presentation. Now we move to now the last presentation by Mr. Dieter Michel Oli. He is board member, Deutsche Bahn International Operations System. Operations. Dieter Michel Oli, born in 1968, studied mechanical and production engineering at Friedrich Alexander University, Erlangen, Nuremberg. He has held different managerial positions in Germany and China for Siemens Automation and Mobility divisions. In 2009, Michel Oli joined the Deutsche Bahn Group as division director for signaling, telecoms, and electrification, and took charge of technology and procurement. In 2011, he took over a new responsibility in the board of directors of DB Engineering and Consulting, a subsidiary of Deutsche Bahn, which consults and support international clients from feasibility to operations. Since 2017, Dieter Michel Oli has served as a member of the board of managing directors for the Deutsche Bahn International Operations, which operates and maintains passenger and freight railway systems outside of Europe, including the Middle East and Latin America. He also serves as Chief Sales Officer at Deutsche Bahn Engineering and Consulting. Both the DB Engineering and Consulting and DB International Operation are part of DB ECO Group, Engineering, Consultant and Operations. Over to Mr. Dieter.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I hope I can be heard well.
Yes.
Now, I would fully share the points of view just shown by the previous speakers. And as we're operating all kinds of rail and bus systems, I can more than agree to what was said so far. So clearly, the move of things is towards more public transport and less private vehicle transport, and that same thing happens here in Germany, where almost every second person owns a car. Now let's go to my next slide, please. We're of course looking at operations from the point of view of having to operate services as an operator who is on most of the services not subsidized at all, such as, for example, long distance passenger or freight transport. Next slide, please. Now, regarding our services in Deutsche Bahn and German Railways, we are bound to deliver highly optimized services in order to be able to earn profit out of our services. And the main portion where we determine whether we earn money or not is in maintenance. Next slide, please. Now, looking at maintenance, what we've done over the last years is we have established a backbone which we call Diana, or Diagnostics and Analytics Platform, where we feed in all kinds of data that we measure from our assets. As an example, we have connected all our mainline switches, be it on mass transit or on mainline systems, to our Diana platform. And we are supervising the current, and in that way, we're able to determine about 2 days in advance if a switch will fail, and in that way we can send somebody for maintenance on a predictive maintenance basis to repair the switch before it fails. This is successful over all the items that you see down below, so switch heaters, temperature sensors, cable insulation, level crossings, even vehicles are connected, or lifts and escalators. This enables us to reduce disruptions of service by around 50%, which is extreme. And at the same time, and this is mainly why we're doing that, we are able to save about 60% in cost in maintenance. Now, you may wonder, how can we save so many costs? Well, the most expensive part of maintenance is that maintenance that you have to do ad hoc. So when something fails and you send out somebody for maintenance specifically in that event. And as typically the maintenance staff are not all located directly next to the assets, this becomes rather costly because they have to travel to the asset. Then oftentimes it happened in the past that they check the failure, they notice that they're the wrong guy, we send out the mechanical guy, but actually it's electric or an electronic problem, and we have to send out another person. So this is the main portion of cost, and here we save a lot. So in total, 60% reduction of cost, that pays much more than the cost of the equipment that we have added to monitor our assets. And in most of the assets anyhow, we have already monitoring equipment in the assets, such as in trains. Typically, there's a lot of monitoring equipment already delivered with the asset, or in elevators and escalators, which we are just simply using, bring it to one platform, and from there centrally coordinate all the resources. So that has been a major breakthrough over the last few years on our side, and we're happy to share such information also with railway operators that are in such need of a better maintenance and a better performance of the assets in order to reduce cost of maintenance and improve punctuality and customer satisfaction, because there's nothing worse than an escalator not working when the client has heavy load to carry, or a lift that doesn't work when a client has some too heavy suitcases with him. Let's move to the next slide. On the other hand, it becomes more and more important to our customers that they experience mobility as a positive event. So that, of course, starts with green buildings, but not only with green buildings, but also with buildings that are passenger-centric in all aspects. And of course, nowadays, free Wi-Fi is a very important topic to all our guests. But as well as that, sometimes a bit ridiculous point, having USB chargers in seats that we provide in stations, as an example, or of course, barrier-free accessibility. And of course, more and more people are very much interested in a green travel experience from the station through the train or the bus into also what they contain as a last mile, such as bike sharing or e-bike sharing. We even have e-cargo bikes at such stations where very environmental conscious riders, they rent a cargo bike to transport their more heavy goods home. But then, of course, we also, as Deutsche Bahn, we provide car sharing, where you can rent a car for as low as €4 per hour to go back home. And also these cars for car sharing are electric. So let's move to the last slide. And that's where we're taking a 360 degrees perspective on our customer communication, especially emphasizing digital channels. Now, here as an example, I would like to introduce S-Bahn Berlin, where we're using a variety of channels to communicate with our clients. And of course, it depends on the client whether they're on more on YouTube or whether they would like to use podcasts as information. Of course, we do provide a website or an app for the mobile phone where everybody can check the best and most suitable way to get from one place to another, whether it is through the S-Bahn or through bus services or through other means of transport. And we're combining all kinds of means of transport in this app, even including scooter and car sharing or carpooling, because depending on the time, any of those means may be more convenient to our client. And it is clearly very much attaching the client to us as we are providing this app to the client free of charge. And even though he can book a carpooling or other means through this app, but still he will himself rather give a priority to the mass transit system in normal cases whenever available. So having that said, on one hand, the access to the client is a very important topic for Deutsche Bahn in general. But of course, on the other hand, also being able to provide a very well designed to cost product, be it a bus service, be it tram or a S-Bahn or subway service, or of course a main line or even a cargo service. So having said that, well, I would be happy to answer more questions if there are any, and I would like to give back to the speaker. Thank you.
Again, an excellent presentation. And one of the most interesting part of this presentation, that how diagnostic and analytic solutions for conditioning monitoring has reduced operation cost by 60% and reduction in disruption by 50%. We will be looking for more details from Dieter. This is very, very interesting part. And other part is that this construction of green building at stations and passenger-centric stations. This is very, very important, that passenger should feel that he is having Wi-Fi, then seats are proper. It is more passenger friendly. Then another important aspect which Mr. Dieter has covered about the first and last mile connectivity. For any transport system, if this is not there, it is not going to be successful. This has been also been indicated by the other experts as well. And other thing is this, we will be looking for similar type of system, how you are operating such system in your country. This is customer communication. That if a person has to plan any journey, he has to have an app kind of system. What I could gather, that you have an app, mobile app kind of system, then you can plan your journey from this place to this place. You will be traveling by train, then other modes. Excellent presentation. Okay. Now, only one question has come. This is question and answer. Only one question is to Mr. Dr. Vijay Dishit. The question is, how do you plan to reduce the infrastructure and signaling costs compared to a bus transport system? Number two part is, are you planning to go for UTO, completely driverless operation? Mr.
Yeah.
Dr. Vijay Dishit.
Thank you. It will not be a driverless operation. It will be with drivers. And as regarding comparison with the buses is concerned, because our facilities are superior to the bus transportation, so our infrastructure expenditure compared to buses will be higher, but compared to metros will be much lower.
Okay. Sir, we have already exceeded the time, so I will wrap up the session. that there are many major takeaways. I will not be discussing upon those things because we have already discussed during deliberation. And excellent presentations from all presenters. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, all of you, all fellow panelists.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful seeing you, and we'll be in touch later. Very nice seeing you. Yeah.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. All the
Yeah,
best.
sure.
Bye.
Sure.
Thank you, speakers.
Bye-bye, Mr. Swami. And bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Thank you.
Vinay, bye-bye. ना हुआ अभी अगला सेशन
This platform actually extends an opportunity to the city officials to learn, to imbibe these global best practices in their respective cities and make urban mobility in their respective cities, in their states, more efficient, more safe, more reliable, more inclusive, and more seamless. So we are just waiting for speakers of the other sessions also as we close with the breakaway sessions in the other virtual rooms and then we just the session.
I think the speakers are all here. The secretary just spoke to me. He said he'll come in only at about 7:30.
Okay,
So why don't we just start? Why don't you do the needful for starting?
Okay, so as mentioned, we are going to start with the conclave, that's the roadmap for sustainable mobility during COVID scenario. And as I mentioned, we are going to be with this moving seamlessly into the valedictory session also. Our eminent speakers, as mentioned earlier, are going to be discussing and ideating on preparing a more resilient and sustainable roadmap for urban mobility, especially in the wake of the challenges which have been posed by COVID scenario. The session is the session chair, Shri Dubashchandra Mishra ji is also going to be joining us shortly, Secretary Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. We have our presenters, Mr. Amit Bhatt, the Director Integrated Urban Transport of WRI, along with Ms. Jagriti Arora, the Project Associate Integrated Transport WRI. Our session moderator, once again, welcome to Dr. O.P. Agarwal, the CEO of WRI. The eminent speaker, Dr. Mangal Singh, the Managing Director, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, Mr. K.R. Jyotilal, Principal Secretary, Transport Department, Government of Kerala, Mr. Panchanadi Thani, the Municipal Commissioner, Surat, Mr. Shashi Verma, Director of Strategy and Chief Technology Officer, Transport for London, Mr. Shomik Mendirata, the Practice Manager for Transport South Asia World Bank, and Mr. Jorgen Roman, the Project Director, Smart Executive GI Sector. So welcome to all the speakers. We begin with the opening remarks from our moderator and then the further proceedings. Also the Q&A we are going to be having. Any questions you requested, please put it in the chat box. We'll have to hand over to Dr. O.P. Agarwal.
Thank you very much, and welcome to everybody. It's a delight to see many friends and many others who I hope to become friends with. So this session is primarily focused around the kind of changes we are seeing in the COVID or post-COVID scenario. So the focus is around that and thinking a lot about, will this have longer term impacts? What do we do with this situation? The focus is a lot around that. Now, we in WRI India had conducted a very brief survey and